Hello, gentle ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ari, and welcome to part 2 of Social Changes. This entitled Social Evolution. If you click the annotation in the top left or the first link in the description, it will take you to part 1, which will explain a lot about what I'm going to talk about now. So at the end of part 1, we discussed sort of this transformation which had begun from sort of the very arrogant me to me realizing that it was my fault and I had to change a lot. And so I was just going to talk about, first and foremost, what happened outside. So what happened in school and how things really changed for me and what I did differently. So I started out as a form of like science experiment, if you want to call it that even, where I began observing people, but not just any people. People who, in my mind, I thought had, qualities that I envied. And that sort of envy came out as like jealousy at the time before, when I was sort of before the transition period. But yeah, the people who I really felt had sort of the it factor. And sort of that lasted maybe for about 4 or 5 months. And I started sort of taking traits and qualities from these people. So myself, I was basically this sort of empty shell with this sort of hint of arrogance in the form of Mr. Phenomenal in there, and just really looking to rebuild myself, not to anybody else's like approval, but to my own approval, because I knew inside that there was something that I had to change, that I had to become a better person. And the person that I was before, after all this, was really eye-opening, and the fact that I saw myself completely differently and really wanting to change. So I did all this, and within a space of, I'd say, about a year, I was at a stage where I actually had like a proper group of friends, like who would regularly hang out, during school time, chat in the morning and stuff, and lunch times, have lunch together, and then go to the cinema or shoot some pool in the weekends and stuff like that. So in the space of a year, my life drastically changed, and I still maintain that my last 2 years in Birmingham, just before moving back down to London, sort of 3 or 4, coming to 4 years ago now, those have been the happiest moments of my life. And I felt that I owe my friends, even to this date, a lot. Something that I'm just going to touch on later on, because I was just going to first of all explain what I've done right now, which is sort of the outside view of what happened. I now really want to talk about the really inside view of what happened and what was going on in my head and what cogs were turning and things like that. So having been through a stage of, of being sort of quite depressed, and I don't really want to throw around the word depression, because I know depression in itself is quite a sort of drastic and serious disorder, and I don't want to make it appear like I had anything similar to what a lot of people are going through and struggling with. But I was in a state where I felt really down and really out of it. And the one key thing that I felt really, really dragged me out of all of it was my friends. And the people who really stuck it out for me and felt like they could give me a second chance. Now, obviously, not everybody was so welcoming for a second chance, but those who sort of knew me or knew that I was trying to change really did offer a second chance. And it was mainly through this that I went through changing myself, in the sense that all the observations occurred. And then I came to quite a sort of substantial period in my life where I had to decide how I was going to implement this. And I thought that, what, if you've changed that much, the people that are worth sort of sticking with, they'll know that you've changed, and they'll realize that you've changed. They may not accept it to start with, but eventually they'll realize that you've changed, and things will just get better and better. And lo and behold, things got better and better, and I can't fault them. But as I said, the one thing I felt was friends. Friends was a big major part of my life, and has been and always will be, and I'm hoping it always will be. And the real thing that I felt is that I felt I had a debt. And I still feel to this day that I have a debt to pay to my friends, new or old, because it's something really that I can't explain, but I'm sure that people who have been through similar, or even people that haven't, people just know that there is something about friends that really brings about the best in us. And I don't know, at a stage where, loneliness was a massive thing and a massive sort of aspect of my life, to go from that which really wasn't a desired situation. Don't get me wrong, I'm not speaking about it in a positive manner. No way, no shape, no how. I'm a massively social being. Hell, humans are a massively social being, and we can't help anything but be social. And I felt that this debt will never ever be repaid for as long as I live. And my only way of having any form of sort of justice in this system, whereby my friends get back something from me, is to be a good friend, and to be there, and to be sort of always ready to help someone out. And I guess it's kind of got me in a situation where I'm sure quite a lot of people have this, but I've been told numerous times, no, I wouldn't say numerous times, but I've been told at times that sort of the one downfall that people like me will always have is that we care too much. And although it doesn't sound like a very bad thing, and in essence I don't think it is, as long as you can sort of control when you should be caring more and more, because obviously no one likes to admit that they've got a problem and they really need help. And if you know someone well enough, you can really poke and prod, as I like to call, and really hope that they'll eventually tell you and they'll find a way which you can help them out. But yeah, in essence, I feel that I owe this debt, and the way I would love to go about repaying it, obviously I said I'd never be able to play it, is by helping friends out and just finding out really what's wrong with them, or if they need anything, or how life is going, or if there's anything bugging them. And I guess the one sort of massive advantage, I'll call it an advantage, is that the experiences that I've been through. Now, if you were to talk to me and tell me, everything that you did wrong in your early life, would you take it back? I think everybody given a chance would say, hell yeah, I would love to change it. If you were to ask me, would I take back the lessons and experiences that I learned from all that, I would say hell no. And if that meant going through it all over and over again, so be it. I will go through it all over and over again, because by God, it was worth learning that lesson. And I guess another way in which you can help friends is that you'll be surprised how the emotions you felt during your change, or during the time when you were down, how similar they are to loads and loads and loads of different situations in life. And how, say for example, suicidal tendencies could be linked to someone who had a history of violence, for example, or somebody, a child going through a divorce of their parents, or anything of that sort. You'll be surprised how the emotions of sort of sadness, anger, really frustration and not knowing where to put this sort of anger, you'll be surprised how it occurs in so many more situations than just what you've been through. And really, I feel that sort of this is a trait, although people will obviously tell me that you care too much and you really shouldn't, and you should know your barriers and you should know your boundaries. I'd say that know who you can and who you can't sort of poke and prod, but in places that you can, I feel like I have a real responsibility for everything that's happened to me and everything that's happened and been done to me, that I really owe these people my life, and I really do, because I wouldn't be sitting here today if they hadn't saved me, regardless of whether you're new or whether you're old. And as you'll see right now, this gameplay is actually coming to an end. It was a survival gameplay on Resistance. I was just messing around with shotguns and submachine guns, really having a good time. But yeah, this is coming to an end and I die. Accuracy is not too bad. But again, thank you for listening. And this is Ari, over and out.